How's it going, guys? This video is going to be my opinion on the Nick Saban Paul Finebaum altercation that took place on the SEC network stage at SEC Media Days. And it wasn't really an altercation, it was more of a, how can we say this, a heated discussion. And the discussion ranged around one question. The question was, why are you not going to suspend Cam Robinson or Hootie Jones for the opener against the USC Trojans in Dallas at Jerry World? That was the only question. Now, for anyone who hasn't seen the discussion between the two, I'll put the link down here in the bottom. I'll try to find it and put it in here. But the question, the players involved, and I'll get to that in just a second for anybody who doesn't know the story. The players involved were arrested in Louisiana, their hometown of Monroe, Louisiana, during their off time when they were found in a park that was closed at 2 o'clock in the morning with two other guys. A cop comes up to them, presumably to say, take a hike. Park's closed, leave, move along, whatever. But then he starts sniffing around a little bit and he smells marijuana. Well, marijuana gives the cop probable cause to search the vehicle. Not only do they find a stolen weapon, that's one, under the seat of Cam Robinson, they also find a weapon sitting in plain view in Hootie Jones' lap. So, of course, Cam Robinson and Hootie Jones are charged with marijuana possession and possession of a stolen firearm. And the Louisiana DA comes out and says, we're not sure if we're going to prosecute. They had a month to decide whether or not they were going to prosecute. And of course it got dragged on through the media like it naturally would because it's Alabama football and Cam Robinson is a surefire first round pick in next April's draft. So of course it's good television and it's good copy. So the DA comes out in late June and says, we're not going to prosecute. Great. I'm happy. That's their future. I'm glad. If you didn't have anything to prosecute them with, fine. But the DA's reasoning for not prosecuting was not, we have nothing. It was, I don't want to prosecute these guys because they're working toward a goal and they're working toward the NFL and they work out in the hot sun, and the rest of us, we just work in the AC. That was his reasoning. So, it gets dropped, and everybody says, oh, but now they have to fear Almighty Saban. Ooh. Saban's punishment was, for both guys now, was 20 hours community service. They had to ride around with a cop in Louisiana for a set number of hours. I can't remember the set number. They had to take a gun ownership safety course. Can somebody please explain to me what a gun ownership safety course does for anybody in a stolen weapons case? Is that how we get away with the charges now? We just say we're going to take the course and then they let us go? Because that was the gist I got from it. It was pretty comical, actually. And they had to see a psychologist by webcam. That's right. A psychologist by webcam like you're seeing me right now on this video. So, that's comical in itself. And again, Nick Saban doesn't come out and say, he says we're handling it internally. That was his line. They were handling it internally. So, nobody knew if suspensions were going to happen, if anything was really going to come of it. So SEC Media Days rolls around, and anybody who is a college football fan knows that every major conference has Media Days. The Big Ten has them, the Big 12 has them, the Pac-12 has them, the SEC has them, and the ACC has them. That's the Power 5. The SEC Media Days is the biggest carnival, basically, on this side of the country. So, to fast forward to the heated discussion between him and Finebaum, Finebaum's question was, It was very basic. It was very obvious. Any journalist worth his salt would have asked the question. Which was, again, like I said at the beginning of the video, why are you not suspending Cam Robinson and Hootie Jones for the opener against USC? Nick Saban's reasoning for this was because they weren't charged or they weren't prosecuted in the state of Louisiana. Does anybody see a problem with that? I don't even care about the state of Louisiana, and neither does any Alabama fan. I mean, we're glad they weren't prosecuted. I'm sure, because that's their future. Great, but this is Alabama. You have your own set of rules. You have your own set of punishments, and this is a guy, folks. Nick Saban has been with Alabama since the 2007 season. It is now going into the 2016 season. So, in his entire time, he has preached about discipline, 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 discipline. If you get in trouble for something, we're going to get you for it. That's what his line was. But you had a perfect chance to do what you preach, and you didn't do it. Why? Because they weren't prosecuted. Now, this is where a lot of Bama fans ain't gonna like me very much, and yeah, I know I'm Southern. But like I said, y'all ain't gonna like me very much when you see this video and get to about 6 minutes and 40 seconds. They should have been suspended. Oh, Justin, how dare you speak about Alabama football like that? Why should they have been suspended why do you ask me that? I say that because they put themselves in a situation at 2 o'clock in the morning. You give me, anybody who watches this video, give me a legitimate reason why anybody should be in a closed park at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'll tell you, there ain't no reason. So yes, they should have been suspended for nothing else than putting themselves in a situation like that, bad judgment, representing the University of Alabama in a bad way. Yeah, that's why they should have been suspended. Plain and simple. Because but you didn't do that, Nick Saban. You said, oh no, we're not suspending them. So you know what you become, Nick Saban? And like I said, Bama fans, you ain't gonna like me. Nick Saban becomes a hypocrite. Why? Because it's a guy, like I said, who preaches discipline. You have a chance to do what you preach, and you don't do it. Hey, Nick Saban, yeah, I hope you see this, and I hope you're looking right at me. Hey, Nick Saban, you want to know what happens to players who get away in programs, who let their players get away with stuff they shouldn't? Why don't you ask Urban Meyer about his arrest record in Florida? Why don't you ask Urban Meyer about one guy named Aaron Hernandez? You don't think if he's suspended from the team or kicked off the team because he had a history of getting in trouble? Now, I'm not saying that would have stopped it. I'm saying that you wouldn't have known that. But you would have at least kicked him off the program, which may have gotten him straight. But that's another one for another day. But why don't you ask Baylor about letting players get away with stuff they shouldn't? Oh, yes, I went there. Because that's what it is. It's a very slippery slope. Now, I know it's a long way from suspension, one player, or two players, to Baylor. I know that. But it's, like I said, a very slippery slope. So now, when another player gets arrested for misdemeanor drug possession or a weapons charge, God forbid, and you suspend him, you want to know what everybody else... But you suspended this guy, but you didn't suspend Cam Robinson. That's the problem, Nick Saban. You've lost the reins of the program when you allow that to happen. So the next time you think about Nick Saban's punishments, remember this. He didn't take advantage of a chance to straighten someone out and do what he preaches. And for anybody who tells me and who watches this video and says, "Oh, but Justin, they're just kids." No, the hell they ain't. They are men by the state of Alabama. They are adults by the state of Alabama. Start treating them like it. And one more thing before I get out of here. Nick Saban, don't ever try to tell anybody, "Oh, I don't care what the media says." Yeah, you do. Because if you didn't care what the media said, you wouldn't have gotten in an argument with Paul Finebaum, the biggest mouth of the South when it comes to football. You wouldn't have gotten in an argument with him on live television. If you would have just said, "We're handling it internally," they would have left you alone. But you didn't do it. So now you're going to get roasted. Oh, and Nick Saban, good job trying to blame the cops. I'm sure they really appreciate that. Oh yeah, folks. I forgot to mention, Nick Saban blamed the Monroe, Louisiana Police Department for basically selective enforcement because he claimed they were LSU fans. Now you're just grasping, Nick Saban. And now you really are. Either, number one, you're getting old and you're getting senile in your old ways. But blaming the police department ain't the way to go. Because it just looks like you're trying to blame anybody else but your players. So what are you going to say next? They planted the weapon under Cam Roberts' seat. They smoked the weed and they smelled the weed in the car. So what you going to say? Nice try. But guys, that does it for this one. Like I said, Alabama fans ain't going to like me, but I'm more than happy to give my opinion. I love college football. When you guys watch this video, feel free to share it. Feel free to talk to your friends about it. Let me know what you think about the Paul Finebaum, Nick Saban, discussion on television. And let me know what you think. Suspended or not suspended, and why not? Why or why not? I hope you enjoyed the video. There will be more to come. Have a good evening, guys.